Today's episode is brought to you by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Calling all foodies, Bush's is hiring. Are you passionate about food, looking for growth, development, and excellent wages? Come grow with Bush's and apply online at bushes.com/join our team. That's Bush's, BUSCHS.com/join our team.
This is your Detroit Free Press Voice Briefing. It's Friday, July 29th, 2022.
I'm Dave Boucher with the Detroit Free Press. Michigan law now bans businesses, landlords, and others from discriminating based on whether a person is gay, transgender, or otherwise identifies as a member of the LGBTQ community, according to a landmark ruling Thursday from the Michigan Supreme Court. The 5-2 decision will have a sweeping impact in the state, where for decades landlords could evict someone or business owners could fire someone solely due to their sexual orientation or gender identity. The case ultimately came down to how justices defined the word sex, specifically whether that word in the context of the Elliott-Larsen Civil Rights Act, a 1976 law that bans discrimination on the basis of sex, refers only to gender, or more broadly also includes gender identity and sexual orientation. Justice Elizabeth Clement, a Republican, wrote for the court's majority. She said in part, quote, "Regardless of whether one defines sex expansively or narrowly, the results of the textual analysis is the same. Discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation necessarily involves discrimination because of sex." The Democratic justices, Chief Justice Bridget McCormick and Justices Richard Bernstein, Megan Kavanaugh, and Elizabeth Welch, joined in the majority. Republican justices Brian Zahara and David Viviano dissented. Zahara wrote, "The Michigan Constitution, the legislature, or the people through the exercise of direct democracy bears the ultimate responsibility to write, amend, or repeal the laws of this state. And this court's duty is to say what the law is, not what it thinks the law ought to be. But this is exactly what a majority of this court has done here." The case stems from 2019, when 2 Michigan businesses declined to serve a same-sex couple and a transgender client. Roush World, an outdoor venue in southwest Michigan, declined to rent its wedding facilities to 2 women who planned to get married. Uprooted Electrolysis, located in the Upper Peninsula, would not offer hair removal to a woman seeking the services as part of her transition. The clients filed a complaint with the state, and the businesses sued. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel called the ruling a win for the state, saying, quote, "Our residents deserve to live in a state that recognizes the value of diversity and rejects the notion that our own civil rights law could be used as a tool of discrimination. This ruling is not only a victory for the LGBTQ+ community, but for all Michigan residents, and one that's long overdue."
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kristen Shamus. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the U.S. proposed a prisoner swap with Russia that could bring home Michigan businessman Paul Whelan. Whelan lived in Novi and was head of global security for Borg Warner when he was arrested in Moscow in 2018 while attending the wedding of a friend. The Russian government accused him of espionage, and Whelan was later convicted and sentenced to 16 years in a labor camp. He has maintained his innocence throughout, and the U.S. government says Whelan has been wrongfully detained, along with WNBA star Brittany Griner. Blinken said this week that the U.S. offered to trade Whelan and Griner for Viktor Bout, a Russian arms dealer who has been held in a federal prison for more than a decade. Blinken plans to speak in the coming days with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov about the potential trade, as well as about the war in Ukraine. The war has affected the IK-17 prison camp, where Whelan is being held. Whelan's brother David said about 10 prisoners from the camp have already left to fight on the front lines of the war in Ukraine, and he is concerned the Russian government could soon force other prisoners, like his brother, to fight. To learn more, go to freep.com.
I'm Andrew Hammond for the Free Press Sports Department. The first round of the Rocket Mortgage Classic is complete, and there's a tie atop the leaderboard at the Detroit Golf Club. Tony Finau and Taylor Pendrith lead the group at -8 after the first round. After that, Michael Thompson and Webb Simpson are each sitting 2 strokes back at -6. Reigning RMC champ Cam Davis is tied for 22nd, sitting 4 strokes back of the leaders. Round 2 gets kicked off very early with a shotgun start at 6:45 a.m. The tournament runs through Sunday, July 31st.
For more on these stories and to read more news from the Detroit Free Press, head to freep.com. That's FREEP.com. See you Monday.